My wife joked with me that we took a trip to Florida a few weeks ago and we had a rental car.
Okay.
And she says, "You officially have forgotten how to drive."
Yeah.
It has taken all your skill, and because you just get in it and you drive. And when you're done, you get out of it.
Welcome to MTE's Plugged In podcast. This podcast focuses on the world of electric vehicles. We combine expert interviews and personal stories to educate and inform listeners about electric vehicles. So whether you're an early adopter who has been driving an EV for years or you're just starting your research, this podcast is for you.
Hello, I'm Brandon Wagoner. In today's podcast episode, we had a chance to do a ride-along in my Tesla Model Y to watch my first reaction with full self-driving. I recently installed this as a test, and I asked fellow Car Club member Roscoe Shelton, who also has a Model Y and has more experience with full self-driving, I asked him to ride along with me and sort of guide me through the process. So this is actually going to be a two-part podcast. The first part, Roscoe and I are going to talk through a little bit of what full self-driving is, and he can give us a little bit of his experience with full self-driving. And then the second part, you're going to get to watch me as I get a little nervous with sitting behind a car that's turning on its own, driving on its own. It's a really fun episode. I think you're really going to enjoy it. I've asked Roscoe to join me today because I blame Roscoe for me purchasing a Tesla Model Y. You brought yours out to Cars and Coffee once and showed it to me and my father-in-law, and I kind of fell in love with it when the prices, when Elon did the price cut earlier this year, and I bought one. I think you were the first person that reached out to me about it, so
yeah,
I was pretty excited. But I also know that you have done the full self-driving experience before, and wanted to bring you along as I turn this on for the first time, which we've already kind of done, and we're going to show that video in just a few minutes. But Roscoe, tell me a little bit about why you chose Tesla to begin with.
Well, Tesla, actually, I had my eye on Tesla when they first released the Roadster.
Okay.
I remember seeing one on the way home from Cool Springs one time, and I was blown away. I had a little Honda S2000 at the time, and the thing just like flew past me silently. I was like, man, that. And then they released the Model S, and that is a point at which I knew I've got to have a Tesla, right? But they were kind of the only game in town for a while. But if I kept an eye on the company and kind of the way they worked, and the thought processes behind how they design things, and I was really impressed with that. And as I read more and more, I started seeing the inefficiencies inherent in my internal combustion engine car. It's like every time I put on brakes, I am turning kinetic energy into thermal energy that's eating away at brake pads that I have to pay for.
Yeah.
And so an electric car, obviously you're putting that energy back into the battery. So it's things like that. And just, the cool factor and the technology factor. I'm a nerd. So, he kind of didn't have to sell me too hard.
I gotcha. So you've had your Model Y now for over a year, and I know you still love it because we talk about it, and your enthusiasm always comes out when we talk about it. What do you love the most about it?
Well, it never gets old, right? It's a quote I heard way on in my ownership journey. It's like, Tesla is the only car that gets newer the longer you own it.
Oh, that's an interesting. I have not heard that.
Yeah, it's like, even in the time that you've had yours, I'm sure there have been changes that.
Yeah, Park Assist was something that wasn't there. I think just a recent update I've gotten is this whole. On autopilot, it now will look for stoplights, although it just stops even if the light's green. So it's not 100% ironed out. But that was something I just noticed recently after an update.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, just little things like when you change lanes, you can turn on the signal, but when you get into the lane, it automatically turns off.
Yeah.
It's just one little tiny thing. It's nice. So, yeah, it's kind of the continuous improvement that Tesla does to their vehicles from a software perspective that really appeals to me. These the camera that comes on when you turn your turn signal.
Oh, yeah.
That was not there.
Yeah. Man, you know what? One thing about owning this car is I don't realize how reliant I am on some of these nice to have things. And when I get in my wife's car and they don't have it, or I'm backing up and there's just one rear camera, I feel like, how am I supposed to do this? You know what I mean?
Exactly. My wife joked with me that we took a trip to Florida a few weeks ago and we had a rental car.
Okay.
And she says, "You officially have forgotten how to drive."
Yeah.
It has taken all your skill, and because you just get in it and you drive. And when you're done, you get out of it. I mean, it's, sometimes I think I hope I don't do that in a gas car.
I have done that. I've gotten out and I just started walking around and I forgot I got to get the keys out, turn it off, But yeah, I think you don't realize how little you're actually doing until you have to stay inside the lane and everything. I thought, what I would really like is the acceleration and that sort of thing, but what I really enjoy is the autopilot. That's to me the feature that I like the most. So let me ask you this: this is full self-driving version 11 beta. There are certain things that are beta and there's certain things that are not. You had a month of earlier this year. You downloaded a month of full self-driving, and that was version 10, and you had beta. I got two questions for you. First, tell me the difference between full self-driving and full self-driving beta. And then the next one, I want to ask you about version 12, because I keep hearing that that's going to be the big, huge step forward in full self-driving.
Right. So full self-driving that you can purchase with the car just gives you navigate on autopilot, which would take you, from entrance to exit of an interstate. Okay. And all the interchanges in between. Gives you lane change, automatic lane changes, things like that. It does not give you navigate or auto steer on city streets. Okay. Because that's a much more difficult problem to solve from a computer's standpoint. So full self-driving beta pulls that piece in. Okay. And kind of visualizes the whole street, all the lanes, all the cars. I mean, we're looking at it here. I'm sure you can't see it. I don't have a camera set up for it, but so there's a lot going on here, and it's going to look at stop signs. It's going to look at traffic lights. It's going to obey right on red laws. It's going to do all that stuff. So it's a significant bit that is not in full self-driving that is in beta.
Okay. So, and a friend of mine, Lee, who is a part of the car club, he's taking off now. Sorry, Adam, we were trying to stay behind you, and I guess it got tired of going slow and just went around. I'm gonna slow down and let him get in front of me. So I keep, Lee was telling me if you can hold off, version 12 is the big step forward. I guess the question I have is, you mentioned it's going to be, this thing keeps wanting to make me go left. You mentioned that there is some thought that we're 2 weeks out from full self-driving version 12.
Right. Yeah. So that's the current thinking right now on the internet. It may be more than that, but it's version 12 has been in the works for quite a while, and Elon Musk says 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens, right? Yeah. Elon time. But the big difference with version 12, it's a paradigm shift. So version 12 has no lines of human written code, whereas every other version has. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, when you think about it, if you've got a developer that's coding for conditional situations, you can only catch so much, and of course you're blending that with what you have from machine learning. Okay. But in version 12, the algorithms are all trained with data. It's all data, no code.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it is a big shift.
That is huge.
So basically, I mean, Tesla's using all of its billions of miles of road travel with people with full self-driving, and anyone that has a Tesla, actually, even on just regular autopilot, when you're driving along, if you opt in, you can send that data to Tesla, and they use it. And when they train that, they're like, okay, and they collect in different ways. So I was just reading earlier that it depends on what they're training for, what they're collecting at any given time. There might be left turn day.
Okay.
Right. And so it looks at it pays attention to left turns, and it trains left turns, and it looks at left turns that went well for drivers. And it looks at turns that didn't go well. It looks at turns that resulted in accidents. It takes all of that and it trains it. So that trains it into the algorithms that are in the neural network, and by Tesla Dojo, which just came online in July of this year, I think, and then it sends it to each car.
Interesting. So, okay, I want to ask you something about this disclaimer. We were talking about this earlier. When you download Full Self-Driving and turn it on, it has a very explicit disclaimer that says that it may do the wrong thing at the worst possible time. And me and you were both talking about, I don't know how in the world a legal team is okay with making that statement. But you made a really good point. You talked about, tell me your opinion on why they feel confident doing that, even though they have that disclaimer.
Why they feel confident writing the disclaimer that way?
Well, yeah, they could. I mean, that even though there's a lot of risk there, that they're still going to push out a product like this. That why would they do something like that? I guess is where I'm kind of. A lot of companies would play it safe and say we just can't do this, because there's too much risk.
Right. Well, I mean, you put the disclaimer out there, and it's a level to SAE level 2 autonomy system, so it's understood, and it's not the only one on the market either. Many cars have it. Mm-hmm. So it's understood that you need to make it understood that you should keep your hands on the steering wheel and your eyes on the road, because we've seen the YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. People hear autopilot, and sometimes they think that means I can take a nap. Right. So, they're just telling you it could do the worst thing at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. So watch. Yeah.
And I think one thing that I like about Tesla is that, and this isn't a Tesla podcast or anything like that. I know other people have different vehicles, and I'm impressed with them as well. But I do feel like if you, Elon's a polarizing guy to some folks, but I think he has ambitions to make a real difference, and that requires some level of risk. Whoa! And by the way, as we're doing this conversation, I'm doing my best to let this thing drive us, but it is hard.
That actually did exactly what I would have done.
Yeah, it goosed it. I was like, either go fast or just wait, because if it would have tiptoed through it, we would have been in trouble. So, well, thanks again to Roscoe for riding along with me and for sharing his experience with Full Self-Driving. The rest of this episode is going to be the first time that we turned on Full Self-Driving. And if you want the full effect of that, we'd encourage you to go over to YouTube and watch it as we drive down the interstate, and seeing a little bit of the looks on our faces and just the apprehension that goes along with letting a car steer on its own for the first time. So thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy this next part as much as I enjoyed filming it with Roscoe. Okay, there it goes.
Oh, great. Cool.
Uh-oh, he's going that way. It's telling us to go this other way. Okay,
well let's break ranks and go this way.
All right.
And then it'll
adjust.
Do what it does.
Okay.
But this is a dead end, isn't it?
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That's a little creepy. Okay, so he's gonna turn.
He's gonna turn this.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, I do think it dead ends down here. It just dead ends into that parking lot at the hospital. Okay. Oh man.
Yeah, it's freaky, right?
Yeah, it is a little freaky.
Now I can tell you right away that was a very smooth turn compared to when
okay, man, it still has my blinker on, so I guess I still have to control the blinkers.
No, it'll okay. It's got some quirks, but for the most part it does a good job.
I guess because I turned it on, it was letting me turn it off, maybe.
Right. Oh, this too.
Whoop. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you'll notice how much more these cameras see.
He's going right on me.
Oh, okay. Oh, by the way, so this is what they do to improve autopilot. They're like, hey,
gosh.
you So it's
If I do that enough, it's going to turn off, isn't it?
No. It's you mean turn off as in kick you out?
Mm-hmm.
No. It's just following too closely or running up behind cars and throwing that sort of stuff.
Okay.
But
and that's how it gets feedback. Is this you intervene for some reason?
Right. Why did you do that?
So Roscoe, I guess I didn't really say anything as we started, but this is my first time. I've downloaded this 3 days ago, and this is the first time I'm using it. So, which is probably obvious to anybody who's already watching this because it's already freaking me out a little bit. So I can't believe how much different this is, though, compared to just the autopilot. I mean, it's seeing all these cars that I didn't know it could see.
Yeah. Regular autopilot would lead you to believe it can just see kind of what's in front and what's behind.
Yeah.
But oftentimes you'll see cars in parking lots all the way out here.
That's crazy.
That you can barely see out the window. So it's pretty cool. It sees a lot.
Have you seen those videos of the robo-taxis out in California?
Oh,
It has LiDAR on it.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, look at that. Saw that semi-truck over there. That's crazy.
But the like Waymo and yeah, those are cool. They're kind of different from the goals are different from what Tesla has going. So Waymo, as I understand it, it was only in certain cities, only on certain roads, and Tesla's goal has been to do autopilot anywhere, just based on the vision from the cameras, no LiDAR. The reasoning being, if you can drive with 2 eyes, surely the car can with 8. And to be able to drop this car anywhere in the continental United States and just have it do what it does on any road, rural or urban, just by the rules of the road that it knows through machine learning and what it sees through the cameras.
This is, I didn't think I would have this much trouble with it, but it's a little. I'm a little anxious about it. I mean, autopilot I was a little anxious about as well, because I'll use autopilot in this situation and it'll come to a stop and ittle start on its own.
You still have to kind of get it there.
So, but this just feels like a different animal.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of decisions to be made, and you can't help but compare what the car is doing to what you would normally do. Look at all that it can see.
Oh,
it can see everything, man.
Blown away. Oh, hello.
Okay, it wants on the interstate.
It wants to go around Adam here. I'm going to get back behind Adam, because that way we're still in camera. Okay, I'm going to go. Uh-oh. It doesn't like doing it on that turn, I guess. There we go.
And maybe after a bit, Adam can follow us.
Okay.
And that would actually probably be a good camera angle to see what the car's doing, to turning on the signals and putting on the brakes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's set up to do that, though.
I don't know. We'll talk to him at that when we get to the Stony River. I just can't get over how much it can see with these cameras. It's really impressive.
Yeah, isn't that wild? So you got, what, six lanes here? Okay, so Adam's going too slow.
Okay.
So Tesla has decided.
That is so weird. Now, does it do auto summon as well?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things when I had it.
Oh, that's strange. Now, how do you
steering input?
It's leaving Adam in the dust.
Yeah, because you're set to 75 here.
I'm going to slow down, let him get back in front of me. So, yeah, do you get on the app and do auto summon, I guess?
Yep, okay. Yep, you open the Tesla app, and there's smart summon and auto summon. So, like, summon is just come to me.
Okay.
Smart summon is go to this place that I define on the map.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was cool. I did enjoy that bit. My wife and I went out for lunch on my birthday.
Okay.
And of course I drove, because I always drive. And when we came out,
oh man,
I know this is hard, and especially to have me talking to you at the same time, it's weird.
No, I'm just. I know these people are going to be upset with me.
Yeah, he's okay. I mean,
oh,
it's okay.
Chirping at me. Okay.
Okay, there you go. It was being considerate of that
Yeah.
Monday. So
Okay, sorry. You were saying you all went out for your birthday?
Yeah, and when we were done, we came out and we were walking in the car and said, "Hold right here."
Yeah.
So I just pulled out the app, and sure enough, we could see the car, and it unparked and backed out of the parking space, and navigated its way right up in front of us. It was
weird.
cool. Yeah, it's kind of like having a
Yeah, I've got to try
valet.
that out. I told my wife we're going to try it Sunday at church. And of course, she doesn't want to. She thinks there's little kids running around, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming it creeps really slow.
It does creep really slow.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, there's that balance you have to strike between ultimate safety and then actually having it go where it needs to go. So sometimes it stops and thinks, and it's like, man, what are you doing? And then sometimes it just abandons. I'd say that feature can be glitchy, and I don't like to do it. If you have to be able to see the car when you
Okay.
do it. I wouldn't like have it try to come from somewhere it's not in eyesight.
And this thing is so weird. It is sitting here turning.
Is this creeping you out?
No. One thing I've learned is, because I hate doing this thing, so I've noticed if I just tweak one of these little scroll wheels, it'll.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Thank you, man. I hate that too.
I hate it because I'm always afraid I'm going to knock it out.
Yep, yeah. Because there's a tight tolerance there, and you can knock it out.
Yeah.
Man, thank you for that.
Yeah. Now, I think it has its limits. After a while, it's like, okay, I know what you're doing. We want you to turn. And so I'll eventually have to. But
Oh, okay.
for the most part, like right now, I'll do that right there, and it'll just go away. So while we're doing this, you had your Model Y. How long have you had it?
I've had it since May 10th of 22.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And how many miles do you have on it already?
Not that many. I think I've got 12,000
Oh,
or
yeah,
so.
that's not bad.
Yeah. Working from home, it's like,
Yeah. I've already got over 17,000, and I just got mine in
wow.
at the very end of January.
That's awesome.
It's just that drive between Lebanon and Murfreesboro twice a day.
Uh-huh.
It adds up. So.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Have you had, did you have your 6,250 mile tire rotation?
I think I did it at 10,000 miles.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually,
Did you use the app? Did they come out and do it for you?
they had me come to the sales center.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just close enough. to
Okay.
where-
Yeah, I was hoping they would just come to the house, and but it was good to just come out anyway, and
Yeah. So was it at the new system?
it was
New center? Awesome.
Mhm. Yeah, so I've been to the old one and the new one. The new one's super nice.
Yeah.
And you can walk from there and go. I think I walked over to like Einstein Brothers Bagel or something like that and had breakfast and just waited on it, and it's pretty neat. It's super nice. I had to get my glass repaired, and at the time they weren't
yeah.
doing that, but I think they're about to start doing that in house.
I can tell you're getting a little bit more relaxed with it.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Yeah, it takes a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I have a friend who was telling me he works with a company that does tractor trailers and logistics and stuff with long haul, and he was telling me that there's people in the industry that think that they'll have autonomous long haul trucks, and it's scared him because the weight of the truck.
Right.
But I was like, this is better driver than me. I mean, it's paying attention.
Yeah.
I'm having a conversation. I'm thinking about work. I'm distracted. So even autopilot is super observant. There's several times where I've been driving and it'll beep at me because I got my pedal down and it sees brake lights in front of me. And
Right. Yeah.
so
This is really smooth. I feel like it's improved a lot since 10.
okay.
Yeah.
And that was, what do you think that was, like April, May when we met and you downloaded version 10?
Yeah, I think it was in the spring, wasn't it?
I thinking so.
Okay. Being cautious.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you going to do?
I almost pushed. That's one thing I don't like about autopilot is that someone will cut in front of me, and there's no chance I'm going to hit that car. But
still.
Yeah, just, and it doesn't just coast. It, because it can't coast. It slams. And it's just herky and jerky, but I've kind of been able to anticipate that and just have my foot right there to catch the pedal.
Right.
And smooth it out a little bit, but.
Oh, so one of the, did we talk about version 12? The big difference in it. So yeah, that was cool. I read a little bit about it last night, and so the big fundamental difference in 12 is that's actually the restaurant where, I'm sorry, I'll start over.
Yeah, no, that's
but that's where we did Auto Summon. We were at the Honeysuckle. Yeah.
Okay.
So the big difference, kind of like the paradigm shift with 12, is 11 actually still uses.
This is super scary because I
let's
guess
wait.
it sees that.
This is cool.
Is it going to go for this? Is it going to go for it?
Yeah.
Ah!
It's going to wait.
Okay.
Hold on. We'll be okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. He's like, are we okay? Wait, hold on.
I'm trying my best not to touch the wheel.
There you go. Okay. Look what it's doing. It's wanting to do something else, so we might want to. We're not U-turning, right?
No, we're gonna go.
We're going
right
after
here.
him.
Okay. Okay, I'm sweating right now.
That was.
That was creepy.
Yeah. That's some of the. Yeah, it can be scary like that, and parking lots are difficult for it to navigate because it's.
Yeah, I can see that. It said it was stopping for the stop sign, but it's. The stop sign's that way. Oh man.
Right.
Oh,
so you can see the decision, the planning here. It's like,
oh boy.
This is what you deal with when you do Summon.
Okay, this is kind of what it is like with Summon.
When it's navigating a parking lot, it's being like
super cautious.
Super cautious like this.
Okay.
If you're still listening, thank you so much. And if you hadn't had a chance to go over to YouTube and see the full effect of the episode, I'd encourage you to do that. Thank you again to Roscoe for being such a good sport during this episode, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Please subscribe so you won't miss any episodes of MTE's Plugged In Podcast.